Hello there, this is Drick. We are back yet again with some more Tex Murphy Mean Streets. Um, Playing in VGA, because we want all 256 of those colors. But, we made a lot of progress. Currently the goal seems to be we're trying to stop Project Overlord, and we need 8 passwords and pass cards. So far we have 4 passwords, and we are up to 2 cards now. I think we have at least 1 or 2 more in reach. We still have to figure out how to get a hold of some of these other characters. I think we found Greg. Yeah, we found Greg Call. Let's see. Well, first let me go ahead and resume the saved game. For those who haven't been here for earlier sessions, this is a cyberpunk detective adventure, and we are investigating the death of Carl Linsky, who supposedly jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge, but it's pretty apparent that his suicide was not an accident, especially with how little the police bothered to investigate. We found a lot of leads implying that it could have been a jilted lover or a former student of his trying to kill him. It turns out that there's apparently a big conspiracy between the Law and Order neo-Nazi fascist party, political party that's around and funding the police, as well as the government, and are tied to the Megacorps running something called Project Overlord, a program designed to more or less get the public to install these microchips into their brains. These microchips would boost their intelligence by about 15 to 25%, but also make them extremely susceptible to any kind of suggestion. On top of that, they are also pairing it with some sort of satellite tracking technology to keep track and view whatever those people are viewing at any given time, and shutting down anybody for thinking wrong. Anyway, that's a bit hell of a recap. Last time we were messing around in, I believe it was... whose lab was it? We haven't punched any Nazis yet. We have had our ass beaten by one of the supporters' private security. There's really no penalty for threatening and roughing people up other than you have to start the conversation over. And we bullied an old man who was an old man billionaire who was in favor of these neo-Nazis and all that. But we also got to the bottom of the mystery of Blaze Wiener. I'm gonna type that into the chat just to make absolutely clear. His name is Blaze Wiener. And he was as predicted, more or less just a red herring. But let's see, whose lab were we at? Ah yes, Smoke Dink. But I don't think it was Bosworth Clark's, was it? I'll find out. So, I'm not quite sure where I am. Looks like I'm towards Nevada. Let's take a peek outside. Okay, this is Bosworth Clark's laboratory. This is where we were last time, and we found a dead Bosworth Clark, who is very cartoony compared to our FMV protagonist, who is clearly just lifting and lowering his feet on a green screen. But We investigated who he was, we took his wallet, and we took the money out of the wallet, because we're a real class act. We also found some gloves in here. We found a little bit of information. I don't think I really messed or looked too much at these computers. I'm gonna turn them on to see if... Oh, can't really see. Okay, that's wrong computer. Can walk right... No, I can't walk right over the corpse. Can walk right through his blood. That buzzing might be a little annoying, but let's see. This is the scientist in charge of the satellite hookup. Also, thank you for the compliment on the chat interface. It's a program called Fontificator Chat. It lets you basically put the chat into any particular font, mostly from a collection of games, as well as having a border window or background window of any particular game. I believe this is the font from the translation project for the original Star Ocean for Super Nintendo. And it looks really nice, and I think it fits this. So we have these two switches that turn on these screens. And I'm not sure if the images are supposed to mean anything to us. Like, we don't see... I guess it's supposed to be the satellite, but we don't... I'm not sure if there's any significance beyond that. There's a lot of things you can just kind of rub up against and throw verbs at, and there's no reason... It doesn't do anything other than... Like, we can turn on this sink, and if we look at the sink on the right here, it now has some flowing water. We can also taste... Well, we can't really taste the sink, but... We can look at the water, we can try and get the water, but we don't have anything, I guess, to hold it in. Can't open or move the water. Water doesn't turn on or off, just the sink. We can taste it though, and it's cold and clean, and there's nothing more to that water. I think we got the stuff that was in the cabinet already. But yeah. This is a heck of a disaster zone. We're gonna go ahead and... let's see. Can't turn off the power unit. We can turn off the robot, and I don't know if this has any meaningful function of turning off this robot. Like, we can now look at the robot. We can't really take it or anything, or we can kind of move it a little, but we can open it. And... sure all the PIs try this when they're searching for clues. But yeah, I don't think there's a whole lot we can do left in this room in particular, but we do have something that will help us at another place. I'm gonna also... hello again. I'm gonna show off something that's kind of cool about this game, but completely unnecessary, is the fact that they attached an entire flight simulator to it. I bring this up every stream, because it baffles me that much. But, there's an entire flight simulator strapped to this, and it's completely unnecessary, and you can just bypass it. It's not a bad flight simulator, it's just... the only reason for it is completely optional content. Every single location is available from the start, so long as you have the navigation code. We start off the game with only 5 that are printed in the manual. Let me see if I can pull that up. I'm gonna just quickly bring up the manual. Over here on the left page, getting started, these are the only codes we start the game with. We have 5 leads, and from there we have to actually talk to people about some of these topics that are listed just below it in all caps. We can also ask about people's names, and those can get us more information. And so far, I believe we're up to, I want to say, around 30 or 40 of these navigation codes. We've been kind of all over California. But, let's see, who was it? Right, here we go. Right, now Ron Morgan we're gonna try next. We found we found at one of the laboratories. Which lab was it? Yep, the phone's ringing in the background. Let's see, where was it? Skimming through my notes. We can probably put down the manual. I don't think John Richards, the medical examiner, would have much more for us. We have John Klaus to speak to some more. We have to ask about Sam Jones. Where was it? Greg Call, that was it. So Greg Call is one of the scientists on a list of people involved in this project that we're trying to track down. Now this is going to be quite a trek, and I don't feel like manually flying out 400 some odd miles because when you put on autopilot, it lets you go bigger distances much faster, which it's about to do. But this is also why you don't really need to engage with the navigation code. Or not the navigation code, but the flight simulator part, because all you have to do is punch in navigation codes and hit autopilot, and away you go. This is pretty far off, so I apologize that the flights are a little bit dull. I'm kind of curious where the legs are I still am curious where the legs are stored in this vehicle. There doesn't look to be a lot of leg room. And I think Tex Murphy's legs are just kind of going straight forward from where we're staring at his knee. Which I guess makes sense because he doesn't have pedals to worry about. He has these things these levers that he holds onto for that. Joystick and a throttle. Yeah, so if you were given all of the navigation codes from the get-go and told exactly which items to grab and from what locations and which locations to take the next to, the bulk of your playtime is probably going to be this flying stuff. And we can see this one's nestled right up against a mountain. And is actually a underground mountain laboratory. I'm still distressed by the lack of air conditioning on this panel. I know I've mentioned that a few times, but I don't think I could drive in a post-apocalypse California without some sort of air conditioning. I do find it kind of funny that whatever blew up most of the rest of the United States and what looks like the surrounding Baja California and Mexico area is never actually stated so far. It's just the nuclear incident. I know there's enough radiation that everybody wears specially treated clothes for blocking out latent environmental radiation. Wait, we're gonna save all the way back on 0. Hop out. This is Professor Call's lab near Mount Shasta. We're about 100 feet or so underground. This lab we had some problems with because we accidentally set off 2 things of nerve gas when we were here last, and we had to kind of scramble out. I believe all we have to really mess with is this stalagmite over here, now that we have some gloves. Using gloves, we're able to move the vine. We can now reach this shelf. Inside the shelf, of course, is a pass card. We have a purple pass card. I don't think we have a corresponding password. We're going to take this pass card. We do not want to taste the vine because it's got poison thorns for some reason. That don't bug us when we just get our pants pricked, I guess. One thing I do want to do before I head out. Oh, not that. Hey, robot.
Danger! Danger! Warning! Danger!
Yeah. Oh, we can actually use this computer. So I guess at some point we... Oh, we just need the passcard? Okay, that's good information. We don't have the purple password. So that's gonna be difficult. Let's see. Alright, so we are making progress. We can now use this. We can now use some of these computers, it looks like. Throwing the switch shuts down the internal confinement unit. Whoops. Yeah, that.
Danger! Danger! Warning! Danger!
Trying to remember exactly where it was the switch to. Right, that's the one we don't want. I think it was over on the desk. There's a lot of ways to accidentally kill yourself like this. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. That fancy FMV animation. That's what I meant to hit. And I believe the switch to open up the doors is over here. Right, I think that the delicious plutonium unit. I think it was this thing then? No. It must have been over here then. Or near the desk. Where was it? Damn. Okay, so it looks like... Okay, hitting the switch again doesn't help things.
Danger!
Good to know.
Danger! Warning! Danger!
Ah, hell. How did I get out of here last time? Was there a switch under this stalagmite over here? Yeah, that was it. Alright. We still have a time limit because the room is still filling with nerve gas. Let us get the hell out of here. It resets once we leave, but alright, so we have yet another pass key. Or pass card, rather. And we have a lot of garbage. The green pass card. The one up here then must be the purple? Yeah. And I don't think we had any others. We know of some of the others, but I think that's all we have. Could have sworn we got another pass card. Yeah, let's. I could have sworn we had Cal Davis's, so we're gonna head over to Cal Davis real quick. The Cal Davis was 3720. And away we go. But yes, at the moment I think we're trying to track down, or at the moment I'm trying to solve some of these puzzles involving just getting the pass cards we know exist before moving on and checking out some of the other leads. Because, yeah, we have purple. We don't know what... I don't think we have Carl's pass card. Which, I suppose we should check out his lab again. Because we kind of skimmed over a little bit of it in fear that some of it might be dangerous and explode on us, kind of like that nerve gas stuff. Just lock us in and have no way out. Let's see. We need to find the gray pass card. I thought we had. I'm gonna check that again. This is the purple. And the green. Okay. Yeah, I think the gray one is from... might be Cal Davis's? That or we saw the card and just didn't get it. No, I think Cal Davis's is orange because his was checkmate, I think was the password. All of the passwords so far seem to be chess pieces. Or chess turns, at least. We have checkmate, bishop, pawn, and king. Hooray! You made it to a stream. Welcome. hop out. We have to turn off the burglar alarm, which we've been here enough times that I've kind of memorized how to turn that off. Move aside the rat cages, open up the circuit box, and hit the switch. Alright, that takes care of that. Right, I think we were messing around with the gorilla too much last time and lost the pass card. Twitch seems to be kind of slow regarding that. On top of that, I'm looking at the chat through IRC, and I don't see everybody who has been talking in there. So I think it's just some weirdness with Twitch chat servers. Look inside the cage at the box. We found a 10-foot pole in that underground, the underground laboratory. And we're using it here to drag, because it gave us the hint of you can't quite reach it if you had a 9-foot pole. So a 10-foot pole is long enough, and this is the one with the orange. And we also have some money. $1,000, a good prize, and we're taking that pass card. We are staying away from that ape. Now, we do have a password, I believe, for the orange, which it should be checkmate. Let's see. Whoops. Aha! Alright. I've achieved a minor success. The control microchip was placed inside the chimp today by drilling a burr hole through the temporal lobe. I was able to control the male's aggressive tendencies through electrical stimuli to the neurotransmitters in the brain. This action releases the appropriate amount of chemical to tame aggressive tendencies. This test is an encouraging sign that several sociopathic disorders could be controlled. I've been able to manipulate elements of ape behavior by inserting control chip in the hippocampus ridge of the brain. By using simulated electrical brain impulses, I have been able to control the physical movements of the animal. Control area number 3. Insertion of microchip into the optical cortex allows me to control visual images in the brain. Electrical pulses of pleasure and pain produced corresponding behavior in subject. Minor setback. Subject was given... Sorry, this is a really hard to read font. Was given a painful visual stimuli. The visuals must have been too intense. That's missing an O. This action caused a massive seizure and gave the subject a berry aneurysm. The exploded blood vessel in the brain killed subject almost instantly. I have been instructed to try several experiments on the chimps, all of which have resulted in total brain control, death, or permanent brain damage. What do they really intend to use this for? Instructions given now are to test the procedure on a human. Don't believe they're using this system for legitimate purposes. There's something devious in their request. I told them I will have no part in further testing of this control system. I feel they have not told me the truth about how they intend to use this device. Okay. That's some good info. I think it's kind of what we already gathered from what we could make out from this room. The fact that they have this microchip manufacturing table over here and this table over here for holding down animals and drilling holes in their head. Especially because the drill bit tastes exactly like gorilla skin. How Tex Murphy knows what gorilla skin tastes like is kind of remarkable, and I do and don't want to know exactly why he knows that taste. Anyway, so we're up to 3 pass cards. Orange and checkmate does indeed check out. We need to figure out where Carl Linsky's card is. I don't know where the gray card is offhand. I think we're gonna check out, who was it? Right, we wanted to go to see Ron Morgan's place again. He's over in San Diego at in his beach house, I believe. Because we need to get that pass card from his piranha tank. I don't know if these gloves are good enough for that. We'll find out. I would imagine heavy workman's gloves would be good for resisting piranha long enough to grab something quickly from the bottom of the tank, but we'll figure out if the game thinks that. He also found that Ron Morgan, whose beach house we're visiting, also has a deed to an acre of land in the middle of absolutely nowhere, and there's nothing there. Like, there's not even human life there. It's mostly just overgrown brush and grass. Because this game seems to be fond of throwing some dead ends in there. And that can be a pain because some of the contacts that you have to track down, you might not be able to find who knows about them without resorting to your informant Lee, who demands payment for information. And you might just beat out 1,500 credits to find out 2 of the 3 leads. Don't go anywhere. So I appreciate that the game is definitely going for that very detective cyberpunk feel of, as well as some of the realism of sometimes a lead is not a good one. But I know that could definitely be alienating for newer generations of folks who play games. Whoop. Let's go ahead and save now that we have the card. Alright, we got another alarm to turn off here. Okay, it wasn't. I want to taste the freezer because I could get my tongue stuck. Lights, panel, and burglar alarm. Piece of cake. Alright, we already emptied out the safe because we're just little kleptos. Okay. I don't know if we have the chess term for this. Let's see. Okay, yeah, we do not have sufficient hand protection from these gloves. I hear you trying to woof out there, Ozzy. Shush. I know. Let's see. Right, we don't have a key for this, which is unusual.
Ron, this is Della. Call me.
I don't know if we can, how much more info we can get out of Della. But we do have some of her nylons and a handcuff key that you might want. mostly because they belonged to Ron Morgan here. Yeah, there is quite a bit of There's a bit of voice acting in this, which is pretty good for 1989. It's not stellar, but it's effective enough. We do have the silly screams, but yeah, I think we are missing some tools for getting everything we need out of this particular location. But like, if I go and chat with Vanessa, she's got voice acting.
Hello, Tex.
But yeah, like this this is like one of the first. Yeah, her eyes didn't render that great from high quality video into super compressed series of JPEGs they animate through. But who did we want to ask about, if anybody? I don't think there's much that he knows anything about. Like Sam Jones.
There's nothing in our files.
Yeah, that's what I figured. We do need to speak with Frank Shimming, who I think we've put off for a pretty long time. Mostly on the grounds that he is like one of the corporate heads of basically the head of the corporation that we're kind of aligned against here. Gideon Enterprises specifically. So I guess we should. I think let's take a visit too. Mostly because I'm trying. I'm at a loss of how to get some more of these pass cards and passwords for them. Oh right, I wanted to stop by Carl Linsky's lab first. And see if we can figure out where his pass card's gone off to. We know his password is Bishop. We do not know his, we don't know where his pass card is offhand. We might have to ask the medical examiner to see if he has the pass card that was on his body. But yeah, this game was one of the first to really utilize a lot of FMV, as much as it did. And it was one of the big pioneers of FMV tech. I don't understand why it didn't get a whole lot of popularity. I think it might have just been adventure game players were expecting convoluted moon and dream logic puzzles at the time, because this is around the point of Police Quest 1 or 2. Space Quest had been out, as well as I think they were on King's Quest 3 or 4 at this point. As far as some of the adventure titles of this era went, there's also, I believe, Leisure Suit Larry at this point, and the original Monkey Island. So it did have pretty fierce competition. I would say this is, in terms of function, closer to Police Quest in that you basically just have to follow the typical detective procedure, which is basically be a good detective and sleuth and figure out what the pattern is yourself, like reading a mystery novel. Because the game does give you a lot of evidence and a lot of different hints. Police Quest, the very first one at least, was literally packaged with, like, the police handbook of, I think it was the LAPD at the time. And all you had to do to beat the game was, anytime an instance came up, you just looked to the police guide and it would tell you exactly what you had to do to finish the game or complete that particular instance. It was a little annoying because among the things you had to do with the really slow King's Quest style walking, you had to walk to either side of your vehicle every time you wanted to leave a location because you had to do a tire check. And if you failed to do this even once, your tires would burst on the road and you would get a game over. But it was basically, you have to do everything 100% by the book. Not everybody found that particularly fun, and I would not say it's a super interesting concept. Like it's a neat idea, but as far as a gameplay concept, when it's that cut and dry, I think it's a little much for players to get too into. Oh, the combat zone isn't done here. So this is combat. The goal is to get from the left side of the screen to the right. Enemies keep spawning. And they violently explode when we shoot them. When we crouch down, we cannot be shot except by somebody who is right up against us. We have a lot of health. It gets chewed up very quickly by the rapid fire that they have, but it also pushes us back when we get hit. But anyway, this is so far the only location that every time you visit it, there is a combat sequence. I kind of skipped through that, but basically if we try to reach into this hole, it's actually got a rat, and it bites us. I don't think there's much we can do with the forklift. Yeah, the forklift is kind of, forklift's effectively dead. But one thing we didn't really check out while we were here is this machine here called an alpha wave processor. Too heavy to lift, we can't take it with us. Can't really open it. Turn it on. Don't know what that did. Oh, hey, there's some ammunition here. Did not save the last time I was here. I must not have. The fact that there was a combat zone. Let's see. Yeah, this was the lead to looking into Cal Davis. Oops. Nothing on the printer either. We don't have the pass card. Alright, we have taken the newspaper. Right, I guess I just didn't come back here on one of the restarts. But this is also one of the hints that leads us to Sonny Fletcher. I think we went into this cabinet because I don't remember the I would have remembered the Pepto-Bismol. Johnson & Johnson assorted edible band-aids. Radiation pills have an expiration date of 2011. They are a relic of an earlier era. All the same, we're taking all of these. Oh. The can of band-aids apparently has a Nexus Pass card. Well then, that simplifies things. Kind of a silly place to put that. I was expecting it to be a lot harder. I guess we weren't very thorough last time when we were initially here, but kind of makes sense because this is where we weren't. I wasn't sure if anything I touched would instantly kill us, because this was like the first location that I really went to, other than his apartment. And yes, we have until October 3rd, 2033, which is supposed to be Doomsday. We're taking that calendar. Oh. 2 is firmly fastened down. And the fan. Delicious. I mean, kids eat scabs already. Why not band-aids too? Right, this is something we had to find the key at Linsky's home to open it. Oh. I guess I was here and only grabbed like a single thing. Oh, hey, a watch. Didn't find this watch last time. And yeah, making things edible is a good way to reduce waste. But hey, dead man's watch. We're classy. Let's take a dead man's watch. Gonna hawk that for about $600. Alright, we have enough to take a look at his computer now. Ah, Bishop is blue. Good to know. Bishop. I'm frustrated with our attempts to find other scientists working on this project. So far, I've only put together a small list of possible colleagues, and SF, who is, what was it? Sonny Fletcher. Not convinced that all scientists are naive about Overlord. I have discussed that in order to stop the project, I will need to obtain all of the pass cards and their passwords. But what to do once I've obtained them is unclear. Sonny Fletcher believes once a scientist is through with his particular phase of work on Project Overlord, he is eliminated. I completed my work on Overlord a week ago, but I'm still uneasy. I'm going to take my concerns to J. St. Gideon, the former president of Gideon and MTC Corporations. I've had severe headaches throughout the day. Something is wrong inside my head. I'm doing things that make no sense to me. I must try to. And yeah, it seems like Linsky may have been killed via one of these chips, forcing him to walk off the bridge. Let's see. Anything else in here? I don't have the key to this. Can't I hit it down with my pole? Yeah, he did actually type that ellipses. That strikes me a lot like the old Monty Python gag of Or face sudden. What? That's what he wrote. He literally wrote trailing off down the wall here. uh, okay, I need some sort of like step ladder then. Also, don't know this safe. It is. It is very delightfully stupid. Hmm. Hmm. I believe from the sounds of what we need for tools so far is something to deal with the piranhas and step ladder, and I believe one other place needed a crowbar for opening things. And I'm not quite sure about this safe, the key to this safe. Doesn't seem like a game that would do pixel hunts, because the okay. Nothing we can do about the fax machine here. Okay, I am out of verbs to rub against most of the stuff that's here. Yeah, we were here because I took the rat trap, even though there's still a graphic for it. So I guess, yeah, there's the combat respawns here, I guess. Alright, we're saving immediately. Trying to think. Is Larry... Okay, we have to bug Larry Hammond, I think, because we don't have his pass card for some reason. Yeah, this is where we currently are. Gonna quickly look through here. This is the first time we saw a Blaze Wiener with who got an E grade. And this was a wild goose chase that led us to a red herring. Okay, I think these are all actually supposed to be the passwords that are, these are the chess piece passwords, because I see scrambled up bishop, queen. I'm not sure what the third one is off the top of my head looking at it. I'm trying to think what that next one could be. Pong, I guess, which isn't really a chess turn, but then there's king, rook, pawn, checkmate. Hmm. I see a knight, black, white. I'm not sure what some of these words are. Castle. Castle, that's the one before knight. Fourth to last. Stalemate, okay. BMG tie is one that I'm struggling with, as well as Nodgar. And Lacentolwa. Like, I'm sure some of these are probably chess terms. I don't think all of these are used because we only have 8 pass cards and there's way more than 8 passwords here. So some of these are going to be duds. I am just struggling to unscramble some of these words. But let's see. Have a bottle of whiskey. This was another. This was supposed to tie in with Blaze Wiener, but I'm going to get you for failing me, Linsky. I thought this was initially from his employer, but it apparently was supposed to be from Blaze Wiener, who failed in his class. Again, it was a red herring. He had no ill will. He was just being right bastard. Let's see. That's Sonny Fletcher. Got this watch. It's an antique. We are selling that as the Pepto-Bismol. I wonder if any of these would work on the piranhas. I doubt it. But okay, this is the blue card. We already looked into Maurice Gribble and David Pope. We spoke with John Klaus, who handed over his green card and his password. Don't know where John Klaus's computer is. Is one problem we have, because we don't have an exact laboratory for him. We just have a place where he was hiding out in like a rundown hotel, or motel even. We have this rat trap. I don't think we have much use for that yet. Newspaper article. This is a Cal Davis lead. This is another hint that perhaps Carl didn't commit suicide. He was killed. I have a feeling this might have a use. It's a flask with very dangerous chemicals. A rack of test tubes I could probably hawk. Invoice, we don't need this, but it was another Cal Davis lead. Or not really lead, but it meant it's basically just an invoice for a item that we've already sold, which was the gallium arsenide, which is metal used for making microchips. We also took Cal Davis's can of Diet Coke, which is incredibly flat by now. Okay, yeah, this is this was another place you could get the password of this was another one where you could get the password of Checkmate, which was Cal Davis's password. Scrambled, as you can see, but I didn't draw the parallels at the time. Camel cigarette butt. slot screwdriver, which we might want to hang on to. Need a cabinet. I don't think we need this book, but this is a hint at what the plan is. This is kind of how I pieced together before looking at what was on the computer that they're trying to use microchips to control, to try and control brains and minds. This is a tray of microchips we could probably hawk. Let's see. This was that dead guy's wallet. Ah, hell. I think the mistake of me taking this is I can't look at the dog-eared page while it's in my inventory like this for some reason. Got some stocks that I can sell. I'm gonna. Blueprints. These are the work gloves. Stole a coffee cup and a sandwich. Their key. Big Surf Hotel was someplace we hadn't visited. I don't know if... I believe that was a matchbook we found at the site where Bosworth Clark was killed. List of... List is titled Caged Rats and includes the names of top civic, political, and business leaders in the state. I don't know if this is... This is one of the clues that's kind of been... I'm not entirely sure if they're just making fun of the political leaders and civic and business leaders by naming all of the caged rats after them, or if it's referring to something more sinister like these people are trapped by Project Overlord, and I want to think it's the former because that's funnier. Alright, this was the Lost Dutchman diamond mine, which was a dead end. Purple pass card. Hole. Maybe, yeah. This was a book on chess. I probably shouldn't have taken this because I think it had the the Ron Morgan's chess password. I want to say he might be Rook. We also took his porn tape, Top Heavy Beach Bimbos from Mars. Stole his pizza. Stole his non-radiated orange juice. We took his book on how to care for piranha, which I'm surprised hasn't been any help in getting past him. This is Della. I forget Della Lang's photograph. We should probably see if she has any use for that. For some of the stuff we found at Ron Morgan's. Here, Ronnie, last night was incredible. Incredible, but I need my nylons back. That's Della, yeah. That was the hint that we needed to go to a beach house. Found a Phillips. Stole some Cheetos. These are the nylons. Sorry, I'm going through the inventory because I'm trying to remember what all we have and don't have. Because there's a pass card that I think is unaccounted for that we kind of need. I think I need to talk to Hammond again. Calculus Monthly. Not understanding anything, of course. Each minute you waste skimming articles brings you closer and closer to the deadline and impending doom. This was a dead end for acre in the middle of nowhere. Save combination. Orange pass card and green pass card. Oh, here's Ron Morgan's password. He is Stalemate. We don't know what color his pass card is, so we are gonna have to figure that out. Alright. We're gonna quickly head over to Larry Hammond and hopefully get his card. Because Lord knows I can't find it. 4935. Larry Hammond's a pretty cool guy. He is one of the mutants in the setting. I'm just gonna manually fly this. There we go. I'm going way too fast. I don't like flying terribly high because it takes forever to get back down from autopilot. I'm gonna overshoot that a lot. Oh yeah. Yeah. Come on. That's one way to correct the player. Okay, it's at 108 degrees. I overshot it a bit. Yeah, there it is. Alrighty. Let's save. Hop out. It is a strange... I like the idea of it. I don't like the execution of this traveling system. And here's Larry Hammond and his brother Daryl. Oh, right. The gray one was stolen. Great. You know his password, though. And if we ask him the password. King. Alrighty. Alright, I don't think we have any more use at the moment for Larry, unfortunately. Where the hell did we go? We've also found enough stuff to hawk that brought us up pretty close to how much money we've already spent. Well, we haven't been by Gideon Enterprises, so I guess we're going there. I don't wanna, because I hate dealing with corporates, but that's where our case has led us. At least it's not that far from here. Oh boy. It's gonna be on the other side of a building, isn't it? Yep. Damn it. As one might imagine with a hover car, it's a little floaty. There we go. Oh boy. Here we go. Hey, Girardelli. Tell security guard at Gideon Enterprises that I'm working on a murder case, and I'm here to talk to Frank Shimming. Leads me to the elevators and tells me to go to the 67th floor. Receptionist ushers me into a huge suite to talk to Mr. Shimming, the president of Gideon Enterprises. A slick-looking man about 50 with gray hair and thick eyebrows. He doesn't look the least bit happy to see me. Howdy. Oh, the old scientist who committed suicide. And he had some work for MTC Corporation, which is our management training. Yeah. I think we have a few names that we don't know anything about yet. Tell me about the Law and Order Party. Yeah, we have a lot of stupid questions for you, sir. Don't know Sam Jones. Actually. Okay, yeah, he can't help us at all. Couldn't possibly know every employee who works at the companies I manage. Surely you have something better to do. I guess. I could just ask him outright about his evil plan, but that would probably go pretty bad. Griffith is in charge of our management training. I'd like to be president of Gideon, but I'm not about to turn control of this company over to him or anyone else. Yeah, I saved. It's fine. Tell me about Overlord. The main name means nothing to me. What's this, a joke? But let's threaten him and get our asses beat by private security. Stick my face next to him. Say, listen, meathead. Give me the scoop or I'll beat your brains out. And there's Tex Murphy getting thrown the hell out. Pretty sure that doesn't cost me anything. Checking to make sure I didn't lose my pass cards. Yeah, no. Yeah, generally if you threaten anybody who is wealthy so far, you just get thrown the hell out by private security. Once more with feeling. Yeah, I figured you didn't know anything about that. He seems to know these. He seems to react to very specific characters, but I can't seem to press him further on it. Because he won't accept bribes, and threatening just gets me thrown out. This is about as much information as I was expecting. And yeah, he's thinking that MTC is kind of a waste of time. Yeah, anything we have to offer is pocket change to this guy. Oh right, we could ask him about the person he ousted. J. St. Gideon. Rude. I don't think that's his angry face. I think that's his annoyed face. Oh, at the bottom teeth showing? Yeah, I think that's supposed to be his angry face. Hmm. Tell you about Gideon. Development of electronic surveillance equipment. Obviously, a man in your line of work doesn't have any formal engineering education, so talking to you in specifics would be a complete waste of time. Rude. You're not wrong, but regarding Tex Murphy, but rude. I have a feeling he doesn't have any information on that. Didn't have anything to say about... Okay, ask him about Overlord. It does bring out his angry face. And there's no way to press him for more information. Okay, I figured that would be about as much use as it turned out to be. Need to figure out Sam Jones, which I believe it was, what's his face? Not Sonny Fletcher. Like the most defeated character out of all of the ones I've come across. John Klaus, that was it. Oh, we got effects. Uh-oh. Get off this case or you'll be sorry. I had a feeling. Probably gonna get another one of those in a moment because we got kicked out. I can't be bothered to fly all the way out to Rio manually. Alright, so talking with him produced a threat, as did speaking with Arnold Dweeb, who is one of the main accountants. The fact that uh-oh, here comes a fax. Now what? Okay, yeah, this was the other one because it seems like whenever you get kicked out for any reason, you end up duplicating the threat letter. It happened with Arnold Dweeb because I didn't want to pay 3,000 credits for information, and for some reason, Tex Murphy got overpowered by an accountant. So I ended up getting 2 of these back to back. Anyway. Even though it showed the animation for revving up to this speed, we haven't actually changed speed since that fax machine. Really do hate the wobble that the autopilot does here, because they didn't program in the ability to go and change degrees in increments of 1 necessarily. Can't fly at 64 degrees, so it keeps alternating rapidly between 63 and 65. It's not true 360 degree movement, which again there's a lot of weird choices in some of the design of this game, like everything about the flight engine. Getting close to the site. All that gray out there is supposed to be completely nuked wasteland. It's completely flat. It's still unclear what the incident was, other than nuclear weapons. And it doesn't seem to be a topic that's interesting to anybody in the setting. Alright. Yeah, autopilot, the reason it takes so long to land is it flies up to the highest altitude and then once it gets over the point it needs to go, drops straight down and it does not move very fast vertically. Anyway, this is a small office complex. Okay. Tell me about Sam Jones. Oh. Well then. He is a straight up Nazi. .0021 in Vegas. Not gonna be cooperative with you. Hopefully I can threaten him and not die. Okay, so I have to figure out how to get to the MTC. Yeah, he looks a little bit like Mark Hamill. Like, he is like the prettiest actor I have seen all game long. Not to be mean to the other actors and actresses, but like he seems to be the one who is the most startlingly handsome out of the bunch. Others, for the most part, just look like random dads and programmers of the 80s. Alrighty, I don't think we figured out how to get into MTC, or at least the central computer that he would have access to, and I think we get blocked off by somebody. Checking my notes. I don't think I've been to MTC. Yeah, I don't think we have a location to go to for MTC. It's weird because it's come up a lot. I guess we're gonna go talk to a Nazi and probably punch him with the threaten button. Off we go to Vegas. Flying across the atomic wasteland. I think of some post-apocalyptic material other than Fallout that features Las Vegas in the post-apocalypse. I'm drawing blanks outside of this. Even Wasteland is confined entirely to Arizona. On top of that, at least the few that I've seen, mostly Fallout, Vegas is usually projected in a pretty neutral or positive light, and they usually tend to skim over some of the negatives or don't include them at all. Outside of, like, gangs and stuff. Alright. Gonna save. Oh boy, combat zone. Really seems like getting off 2 shots is ideal. That would be a really cool gun to have. One that just... You just lightly graze their shoulder and they explode into a billion pieces. Let's see. Professor Jones's break into Professor Jones's laboratory. You see him standing at the other end of the room. He's a man in his early 40s with glasses and hard gray eyes. How'd you get past my security people? He asks. Giving your security people the rest of their lives off. Afraid you'll have to start talking resumes again. Sorry, I guess like I think it's supposed to be like a super high-powered cyberpunk gun where you basically shoot them and they die in the most horrific, over-the-top manner possible. Kind of like in Videodrone or that recent Russian music video, Juju. He looks shocked at first, but then gives me a convincing snarl. There's nothing for you here. Time to get tough. I get out a steely-eyed look and say I'll air out that oversized skull if I don't get the facts now. Alright, I'll tell you what I know, but do you no good. They'll find and kill you. MTC will soon develop a device that will allow us to become the biggest, most powerful corporation in history. All I did was ask about the corporation. You didn't have to spell this, but thanks. Spread throughout the world, and with the help of our affiliate, the Law and Order Party, we will control the destiny of an entire world. I'll tell you what I know, but they will find you and kill you, yeah. Law and Order Party is becoming more powerful every day and has followers throughout the government and business. They are working with us to develop a device. Yeah, they won't think twice if they can't think for themselves. I was hoping to get a location. Shit. How about Big Jim Slade? Yeah, he legitimately doesn't know Big Jim Slade. Weird, but okay. He hands you his yellow pass card. Okay, we have yellow now. Yeah, keep punching this Nazi. Getting what I need. Okay, he's queen. Yeah, it's he's a scientist. I mean, there's not much he can do to fight back once his security forces are gone. But yeah, he's looking to enslave everybody, so screw him. I don't feel even a little bad. That's his happy face, I guess. Guess I should ask you about Overlord. How'd you find out about Overlord? Guess it doesn't matter because it's almost operational. Through microchips and satellite monitoring stations, we can watch anyone, anywhere in the world. Overlord will greatly enhance government security. Everyone will benefit through this new control device except those who are deemed a threat. Yeah, I believe I heard this from someone else as well. Can you give me a location of Robert Knott? President of the Law and Order Party. Someday he'll lead the world. Humph. You're not giving me information I want, but you at least gave me some items I needed. Tell me about Nexus. Give a Nexus terminal and password PC to work on Overlord. It's allowed me to access the central computer. Okay, it sounds like the goal is to take all these cards to the central computer. Some folks will only respond positively if you bribe them. Like this guy, he will not accept bribes. You do have to threaten him for information. Most of the characters in the game so far usually just end the conversation if you try to threaten them. If you bribe them, you can usually get them to spill the beans, or they basically say, "Hold up, I'm already telling you what I know on that subject. I don't need your money." Or, "I'm so rich, your pocket change won't mean anything." So, the bribe and threaten buttons usually can help, but it's usually only to get information that they're not already forthcoming in giving you. Like, this guy is holding back all information, but if we keep threatening him, because he respects force, especially because he's a Nazi, he respects force. Yeah. Actually, tell me about yourself. That's fine until you showed up. Yeah. Some of the characters actually usually have something funny to say. That's possible. But yeah, generally when you ask them about themselves, usually they have something kind of funny to say. Like, there's one guy who's just a complete thug and demands money for any information, but if you ask him about himself, he's like, oh, I'm actually doing quite nice, and I'm looking into, however, my vision's kind of getting bad, so I'm looking into getting a monocle from the guy who has only one eye. And you just get, like, weird little conversations like that. It's kind of a funny detail that I like. I really wish we knew where to go to visit MTC, but I think that's probably gonna be a bit endgame. So let's see. We have yellow, orange, blue, green, and purple. That's 5 of the 8 cards we need. We need gray still, and we don't know what password goes to purple. We could try just brute forcing it with some of the passwords we have, but Who did we? I'm trying to remember who we got the purple one from. Actually, I forgot to write that down. I think that was Ron? No. Yeah, Ron Morgan, I think, was purple. That was the dead guy. We had his card, but not his password. Okay, he legitimately knows nothing. Yo, how's it going? We are currently roughing up a Nazi for information. We mostly all we've gotten that's valuable out of him is yeah. We mostly just got a pass card and a password out of this guy, and not much more info that's new. A lot of the info we're getting from him is redundant and lines up with what a few other characters have mentioned. Let's see. It sounds like we probably roughed him up a little bit, or at least threatened them pretty convincingly. Yeah, that's so far all we've done. Running low on leads. Might have to start just going to some of these numbers that we don't have a lot of info on, or much reason to investigate them. Might also have to crank out Lee and get information on how to just straight up go to them. But as for information we still have before having to pay, let's go visit Della and give her her crap back. Because, yeah, she has some. We have some stuff of hers that we got from Ron Morgan's. You better appreciate this, Della. I doubt you'll do anything, but. Also, it is unclear if Ron Morgan is alive or not. Like, most of these scientists we have confirmed are dead. Or are slated to be killed. And Ron Morgan hasn't shown up beyond... they moved his crap from... I think it was the Sierra Mountains, or Mount Shasta, and dragged it all the way down to San Diego. For reference, that is literally from one of the most north point, one of the most northern mountains in California to the geographical southernmost point in California. And California is a really big state. You can crash into things while driving, but it's another thing where there's no penalty for it. It just kind of stops the vehicle dead. You hear a crash sound. Sometimes you'll float off in the opposite direction at a very slow speed. You cannot crash into the water because it is a hover vehicle. It does not allow you to nosedive either. That was actually one of the first things I tested because I wanted to see how obnoxious before I started this playthrough, I wanted to see how obnoxious this flight system was going to be. And honestly, the bulk of it's actually really easy to control aside from being floaty. Yeah, it crawls for the last 3 meters, and then you have to also drop the 1,100, or the 11,000 feet up in the air, which, yeah, there it goes. Let's speak with Della. Hi, Della. And that's her happy face. Okay, you have absolutely no value at this point. That is some deep blue eyeshadow. It was fashionable in the 80s. That's all I have to say about it. Like, I believe that was a trend. Yeah. Maybe. But, no, the deep blue eyeshadow was very popular in the 80s. It was dying off by the 90s, and by the time the Drew Carey show rolled around, it was considered to be, you do it because you have very poor taste or you're not keeping up with the times, and in the case of Mimi, it's because she has really poor taste. I hear a helicopter outside. Anyway, I don't think we need to go through all this. Other address that we had to visit. Yeah, I'm like me was presented as being a horrible person with a really caustic. Granted, she had some really good banter, but she was supposed to be presented as a really tiresome, bothersome person at the office. Anyway. Yeah, great. So we're going to, this is the Big Surf Hotel, which we have on a matchbook, and we don't have any other reason to go here other than we found this address on a matchbook that was in the a dead professor's lab, with a dead professor still in it. And it's technically not meters, it's supposed to be miles, but whatever. Alrighty. Yeah, that's like it's a good reason, but we don't really understand why the matchbook was there. There was a bunch of cigarettes that matched the same brand of cigarettes at another scientist's lab, so I'm assuming, like, what I can piece together is assuming that it's the killer who has been smoking this particular brand of cigarettes, which would be Big Jim Slade. He is this is probably where Big Jim Slade might be located, if I were to take a guess. Based off the information that I have and the fact that I don't think we get to kill Big Jim. I wish we could, or well, we'll see. We'll find out. Oh, it's a dead end. Maybe. Oh, it is actually Big Jim Slade. I guessed right. Cool. I'm finally showing off my detective skills and calling my shots before they happen. Because I've been forgetting to do that. But Big Surf Hotel may have been nice once, but that was when Reagan was president. Since that time, the years and the management have run it into the ground. Walk up to the desk where a short, burly man in a dirty t-shirt is watching TV. I asked to see the register and noticed that a man named Big Jim Slade was in room 305. Same man that was on the list I got from Arnold Dweeb. I asked the manager if he remembers Slade. Yeah, I remember. He was a big, mean-looking guy. Left yesterday. His room hasn't even been cleaned yet. Decided to check his room out. A few empty beer bottles, cigarette butts on the floor, and Playboy magazines featuring the girls of Freaktown, which is basically where all the mutants live. In the garbage can is a fax that says, add Lola Lovetoy to your hit list. The boys at MTC think she knows too much. The initials at the bottom of the fax are RK. Finding nothing more of interest, I'm going to write that down. Lola Lovetoy. Who is RK? We have an RK as a known factor here. Oh, right. What's his face from the Law and Order party, I believe. Robert Knott, that's it. Alright. So we missed Big Jim, however, it sounds like he might be on to Lola Lovetoy, so we're immediately going to hop out, speak to Vanessa, see if she knows who the hell Lola Lovetoy is.
Hello, Tex. I'll get back to you.
Oh boy. When she says something like that, it generally means that yes, there's information. Where did I put that? I'm not the most organized with my notes, so I apologize. It takes me a little bit to sift through them. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna save my notes real quick. Alright. Looks like the game has been going on for 8 hours of playtime. I'm gonna hover up just a little bit. Oh hey, there's the Hollywood sign. Uh-oh, here comes the fax. Lola Lovetoy is at her club in San Fran at 4603. Stripper? Bartender? Club manager? I don't know what her profession is yet. I'm assuming with a name like that, she is probably intended to be a stripper. before we move on, I do want to check out how they rendered what looks like the Hollywood sign, vaguely. That doesn't say Hollywood, but that was way after this game was made. Alrighty. Oh Jesus, this is right. I'm in LA and it's way up in San Fran. I'm dumb sometimes. The hill is a lot more dead. A lot of things are a lot more dead. Like, there's supposed to be way more green on that mountain than there is gray. But, cyberpunk future. Also, it is fall, so that might also be dimming the colors on that mountain. Because it is... I'm trying to remember. I'm sure if we send Bug Vanessa for another fax, it'll tell us the date. I think it's September 25th. And it's currently 8 in the morning. Yes, someone's on the loose nearby. That helicopter's been circling around. And I hear a dog. Ah, these flights are awful. I mean, it's a good way to milk more time out of an old DOS game that had to run on a 386 processor. Man. I don't think the helicopter's coming through on my mic. Because I put a noise gate on this mic. Okay, that's good. Alright. Save and hop out. We've seen this background before. But now it has Lola's, I think, on the right. Oh, this place is busy tonight, with its garish red and yellow lights flashing and a steady crowd working its way inside. At a table near the front of the stage, I tell a waiter I need to see Miss Lovetoy, rather, on an official matter. Slips me behind the stage. A few moments later, Miss Lovetoy appears. She saunters over to my table and sits down. She looks like the kind of woman you could score with even if you played your cards wrong. Hi there. Yeah. Tell me about Lola Lovetoy. Ah, hell. You want bribes. Let's see how much... Okay, good. It's cheap. Cigarettes can kill, but so can love, and so can Lola. Don't get cute with me. If you want information, it's gonna be expensive. Don't try to sweet-talk me until our business is over. Hell. Big Jim Slade. I'm gonna lowball. Is this a joke? Usually means you're offering way too little. You have to do better than that. Buckwheat is you're still lowballing. Close but no cigar is, as it implies, you're close but not quite there. 500 is how much? Yeah, that's kind of the can't help you there is the default. I don't understand what you mean. Um, Never mind. This is also a stock phrase. When you bribe them enough money, it's always thanks, buddy. I'll tell you what I know. Tom Griffith wanted me to find out if Shimming knew or cared about anything going on at MTC. Tom Griffith. That was the Gideon guy. And I was the VP of MTC. And Shimming is the guy who runs Gideon. Okay. How much for... Law and Order Party and MTC are working together on some new device. Tom Griffith, the head of the MTC. Okay. That's information we already know. Let's see. Trying to figure out who in the hell are we? Yeah. You don't have to pay $100 just to learn if she needs bribes. Usually if you try to bribe somebody who will not accept bribes, they will immediately cut you off the moment you try. I lowballed at 100 because there are a few people who will only charge $100 for a little bit of info. And yeah, although she's fidgety, and while that would mean in a more modern detective game that you need to press them further for information, that is unfortunately all the information we can get out of the subject. We can ask about Robert Nutt. Okay, she... Head of the Law and Order Party. Quite the mystery man, controls much of the action of the city. Hard to find. I don't think he's looking for publicity or notoriety. He wants to control things without actually appearing to do so. Okay, that's not new information. So far, we're striking out a bit here. This is all old information we already know. So let's see. We are still short a few scientists. We have got Sam Jones, that's 1. Larry Hammond, 2. Bosworth Clark is 3. John Klaus is 4. Cal Davis is 5. Greg Call is 6. Carl Linsky is 7. Ron Morgan is 8. Okay, we do have all 8 scientists accounted for. Don't have all the information on them, and I'm not 100% clear what we're missing. Bosworth Clark was the one we opened up on who is dead. We visited Sam Jones and got his stuff. Larry Hammond, we need to figure out how to get to Law and Order Party. So I think like the main roadblock that we're having at the moment is we need to figure out how to actually find Law and Order and maybe Robert Nutt. Because we need a card from there. We also need to figure out how do we get to MTC Corporation. We don't have... Despite the fact we've spoken to everybody about MTC, we don't have an address or anything. I think Lola here is supposed to be a more, is supposed to be kind of a cheaper version of Lee. See if she knows anything else. Okay. Okay, we already. Tom was quite arrogant, but as with most people, but he treated this guy with a lot of respect. Okay. Nothing new on J. St. Gideon. So far, it seems a lot like she is. You can pay her for a lot of information that, like, if nothing else, she seems to be like one of the main plot dumps, as well as if you can't find the information for free, you talk to her. And unfortunately, like, the person we need her for, I was hoping to get out of her was Big Jim Slade, and still nothing. So I think we've asked a bunch of people about Big Jim Slade, including Ron Meat, who didn't have any information that would help, other than he's going to find you instead, which doesn't really help. We need to find. So I think the problem, the main things we need to find is we need to figure out, find some tools to grab a few last things in some of the labs. Then we have to figure out where MTC Corporation and Law and Order is. We need to get the last few key cards, which the tools are ideally for. So I'm just gonna enter nothing and okay. So yeah, we need to find MTC Corporation. We need to find where Law and Order is located. I'm gonna see if Vanessa knows anything. This seems like a moot, dumb point. Yeah, that was $2,000 well spent learning what we already know. Unfortunately, a lot of investigation games have the tendency to do that.
I'll check it out.
Okay, I don't think this is gonna yield much, but sounds like she has anything. I'm gonna check out Carl's house again. Maybe. If we can find a key that we missed. We don't have that far to go. Could be getting effects any moment. Yeah, I think I've done okay so far in this game for having... Oh, here's effects. For having, like, no guidance or anything. Okay, that's the... We have Gideon Enterprises as location. Thanks. Is it going to be on the second page? Nope. Wonderful. And of course, no one knows where the I'm gonna have to bug Lee, because I'm getting real tired of looking for this crap. Hey Lee, tell me where MTC Corp is. No one else is telling me. Enhance.
What can I help you with today? Sorry, can't help you. Make me an offer.
She usually wants a pretty good amount, so like 500.
Look for my facts.
Oh. 500 wasn't bad. Usually she wants at least like 750 for a lot of her information. I don't think there's any more names we don't have a number for. Yeah, Big Jim Slade, she directed us to checking out a guy who told us to check out, or basically said, yeah, he just finds you, you don't find him. Which, money well spent, which unfortunately is the nature of a lot of investigation games. Which I think I've already just said, so. But yeah, I think we have all of the scientists and their labs, or at least I think their labs, all more or less accounted for. I don't think we have the residences of some of them. I think that's all I've got use for Lee at the moment. And the dog is scratching at the door. I'm gonna have to open up and wrap up shortly. Which I was planning to do, but... Let's check what facts we've got. Damn, no one seems to know where they're located. That's... 500 bucks well spent. That said, I think we are at a point where we don't need a lot of money. All the same, maybe next time I will try and show off some of the bounty hunting. I'm gonna poke my head real quick into his apartment again. Like, I'm pretty sure I rubbed against every bit of furniture. We're already in the safe. Alright. About over here. Thing I missed. No. Nothing in the display case at the moment. Moving the trash can does nothing. We have the one tape from the beginning of the game we grabbed, where it's gonna play a voice clip.
They're in my head! They're in my head!
Let's see. And this is how we got the clue that the password for his computer is Bishop. I think I've emptied out the bar too. Didn't mean to do that. And if we had set off the alarm, this is where the shut-off switch is under the shoebox. Alright. Firm grip and tug as hard as you can. You couldn't move this if your life depended on it. Okay, yeah. Not sure where to get a key or a step ladder or something to get the card from the bottom of the fish tank. That said, it's been a few hours. I think it's about time to wrap up. Almost 8 o'clock. Thank you all for coming. We'll pick this up hopefully Thursday at hopefully closer to 5 Pacific time. And we'll see you there. Hopefully. Toodles!